Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Father Joe Grimaldi podcast. I'm Ken Calvert, along with my good buddy, my dear friend, Father Joe Grimaldi. And golly gosh, folks, we got to bring you up to speed here. About a month ago, the good Father Joe Grimaldi, well, you had yourself a hip replacement. I should remind people that the Father Joe podcast is brought to us by our great friends at Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln. They're happy to show you the impressive new lineup of stunning Lincoln vehicles, including the all-new must-have 2020 Lincoln Aviator. Can't stop in, you can shop online, starlincoln.com. Great way of doing it, by the way. Get a cup of coffee, sit down in front of the computer, go through all the models, all the styles, all the looks, the interiors, the packages. Everything you could want in a vehicle is available for you online. You can sit right there and get it all done at home. As you know, I'm driving and loving the Lincoln MKC. You got to check that out. The all-new Nautilus is absolutely off the charts. And Star would like to thank all of you for one of their best months ever. Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, 12 Mile Road and Telegraph in Southfield, home of not just the Star treatment, but the Father Joe Star treatment. Oh, yeah. So you'd been coming in here, and you had been incrementally getting, you were in pain, and it was getting worse and worse and worse.
Sure.
So you finally decided, Ken, I got to do something about this. And I said, well, there are people out there, hired professionals. They're called doctors. You want to go see one and see what they say. So you found out that you needed a hip replacement, which a lot of the listeners probably know well. A lot of people have had a hip replacement. Right now, people are having it as we speak. Without going on and on, you have a brand new hip. It's been about a month. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I didn't realize how bad the thing was, But the doctor was mentioning yesterday, we've gone from nothing to something good. And so he said, you're doing well. You seem to be adapting well. You're walking well. And that's very important. The way you walk is important so that you keep the natural step going, heel, toe, and so on. Yeah. And so this is the training we got in trying to walk with a cane, but without a cane, ultimately. The cane is going to help. In the beginning, of course, they give you the walker to use, and you're supposed to use that for a good period of time. I didn't use it for more than a day because I was able to go with the cane easily enough, and now when I'm home alone, I don't use anything, so I just get around the way I can.
Well, you're familiar with your surroundings, and that's good because you don't want to be banging into any walls or doing anything foolish. And the one thing you never, ever want to do, period, is fall.
Exactly.
You do not want to fall down.
We don't want to hear any popping noises.
No, and I would stay close to your cell phone, by the way. These are just basic things so that if you did fall, you could call a neighbor or 911.
Well, I'm a member of the old people, and I know I have to do that.
You're in a pretty good-sized group.
80 is looking good right now.
So, but it's all behind you now. It's in the rearview mirror. I watched you going through the workup for it, the procedure, seeing the doctor, getting the exam, then getting x-rays, then him telling you what he was going to do, total hip replacement, a small incision, only about 2 or 3 inches, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's amazing what you were saying to me, how they get that entire ball and joint in there.
They stretch that skin.
Yeah. And so looking back, you're without pain, right? And
I'm without pain right now.
Isn't that great?
It feels great, yeah.
How much pain were you in while we were doing these podcasts?
Well, it got progressively worse. I started noticing it in October, and by the time it was December, January, and so on, I started noticing it worse and worse. And, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, people could ask you, what is the pain level? I would say when I moved, around 7 or 8. If I was standing still, if I was sitting, it was nothing. But when I was moving, it was about 7 or 8. It got pretty serious.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me to do was to watch you getting into a car.
Oh, God, yes.
It was like, how is he doing this without just like going, But you managed to do it. And now, looking back at it, from a different perspective, what did you take away from the experience? I mean, did you learn anything about yourself that you didn't realize? You know, you had to go through a hospital care. Then you went to a secondary facility, sort of a rehab facility, where you were with a bunch of your other brothers and sisters who were working their way through various maladies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the most fun to have as a new patient or whatever.
No, it isn't. But what did I take away from it? One of the things that really comes across, and I'm not trying to sound schmaltzy or anything like that, but I am blessed. I really am. When I look around, I seem to heal faster. I seem to get on my feet faster than many. And so the doctors were amazed, and at least they put on a good act that they were. And so I was really appreciative of the fact that I am blessed, that I have this ability. THIS, this ability
to repair,
to repair.
Yeah.
Right, because, when you're going through that pain, you think nothing's ever going to make this better. Nothing. Yeah. And sure enough, once that hip is in and functioning properly, and after a couple of days or weeks, it's like it's part of you. And the one thing, after seeing the x-ray of how the hip is in position now, because I just saw it yesterday, I'm amazed. Yeah. All of this titanium in me, you wonder how they even got it in there. But they got it in there, and it's in a great shape, and it's suitable for my using it.
Here's the question, though. Did you find yourself being tested in terms of patients while you were in the facility doing your rehab?
You're asking the wrong person.
Why?
Because I'm impatient always.
All right.
Well, I like things done yesterday.
Well, then I'm asking the right person. So you found yourself at times going, where are they? Or why can't I do this? Or I don't want to be bothered right now. I mean, you found yourself in all of those situations?
Very much so. Overall, though, what I would say is this: the nurses, the doctors, and everybody else at the hospital, as well as at the rehab, I thought were very, very good. The one thing I get a big kick out of, because they probably are understaffed, you would have the doctor come in and say, oh, you have to keep drinking liquids, lots and lots of liquids. So then the nurse's aide would come in and say, can I do anything? I said, yes. Can I have a glass of iced water? And of course it would never come. And it would be an hour and a half later, and so it would never come. So anyway, you imagine what that does to somebody who's impatient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But eventually it was over after I left the place. I says, oh, heck, I now I can have all the ice water I want.
Do you have a new respect now for how, I'm going to come at you from two angles on this one. Do you have sort of a new respect now for people, what it means to visit people when they are in a facility and they don't have anything really to do because they are trapped in this room? Basically 24 hours a day, get out a couple of hours to do some physical therapy. But for the most part, did you enjoy visitors and appreciate the fact that you have so many friends?
I really did enjoy my visitors because they're people that have a lot of good humor.
Yeah.
And so we were able to laugh at a lot of things and so on. As far as being sensitive to other people, I want to say I'm blessed. I'm sure you know by now that I've had 2 open heart surgeries. I've had cancer. And so having been vulnerable to these types of illnesses makes me appreciate what I have and what some people are just now experiencing. So whenever I would visit people at the hospital who were going through that, I could understand a little bit more than someone who has not had any of that, where these people were coming from and what they were feeling and what they were sensing. And so it was good to be compassionate with those who were vulnerable in that kind of situation. So to answer your question, I do have a good perspective, I think, about being in solidarity with people who are going through very serious illnesses. And it's kind of interesting. It certainly brought me face to face with mortality.
Yeah.
Because you wonder I'm at an advanced stage, some people call it, okay? I don't feel it, but I am at an advanced stage. And so said, well, maybe it's time, and you start looking at your skin, and it looks awfully frail, and it looks awfully, on your hands, it looks, oh my God, you could see right through it. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is the way it's going to look. So I thought, you think the macabre, huh?
Yeah.
You think of the worst, and you think of whatever's happening in the future. You kind of get over that. And
you bring up a good point, because we all hear about the medical procedure where people say, this wasn't supposed to happen. Bob was going in to have a shoulder surgery, and they found something much, much worse that was causing the shoulder surgery. It's not good. Bob is in really bad shape. Or somehow somebody gets an infection that all of a sudden takes a traveling route that isn't good. So you can't help but think, boy, I hope I'm not that
That's right.
that 1 or 2% that all of a sudden something bad, comes out of this, But that didn't happen. We knew it wouldn't happen, but you can't help but think about that happening. We all do that.
And I certainly was too. I was thinking about it as well. As you think, as you face mortality, this is one of the things you think of.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Yeah.
Did you say, God, I don't want to die right now. I'm ready. I got a lot more to go, or any of that?
Well, whenever I go into surgery, which is to me, you never know what's going to happen in surgery.
Right.
So there you are, and they're telling you to do the countdown, 100, 99, 98, 97, and so on.
How far did you get?
97 usual.
Yeah.
But anyway, you say, Heavenly Father, I'm ready. Take me if you want. But give me a couple more years if you want. Right?
No, if you don't have to take me. Look, I'm perfectly fine where I am right now. I enjoy my life. So if that's okay, I would.
And I have a lot to work on too.
We have a couple of things that I'm still working on. Can I just finish those up first? But you know that the reason why I bring that up is because, that's the closest you get when they put you under. Sure. You're counting on a lot of things to go really, really well.
Sure.
And you're talking about a room full of professionals who want everything to be perfect, and it usually is. But you can't help but go, well, I'm in the power of his hands, right, and I'm in the power of all of their hands. Right. Let's have a good roll here. Let's do it, folks. Let's get it done.
Well, the other thing I say, Heavenly Father, please control the hands of the surgeon.
That's not a bad prayer to say. Let me write that down. Dear God, please. Now, getting back to the fact that you had visitors, you had a good group of visitors.
Oh,
You've got such an incredible following of friends, and who are all good-natured, fun people. I know a lot of your friends, certainly not all of your friends.
Sure.
But most of them come with a pretty good sense of humor. In fact, a couple showed up with a couple of bottles, and you had to say, this isn't the place.
That's right.
I believe you were telling me that somebody.
No.
I won't tell any. I won't tell anything out of school here. But that happens on occasion, and God bless those people, because they're thinking, maybe a little nip right now, Father.
That's right.
Look, again, I remind you, this is not the Bells of St. Mary, okay? I am in a medical facility, all right? This is not a movie, all right? One of the Warner brothers is going to come over on the lot and say, and action. I love it, boys. You got it.
You got it.
We have talked so many times about, if you've got some time, make some time. Go out of your way to visit those who are sick and in the hospital. And don't get visitors. They want visitors. They like visitors. At least a pop in and say hi. A lot of people kind of go, oh, I'm not really up for visitors, but it was great to see them. But it just reinforces that, don't you think?
Well, very much so. And of course, if you're, depending on how you feel, okay, as you start to get a little bit better, you don't mind people staying because you can enjoy them. Now, when you're feeling drowsy and in pain, and a lot of people come in, you love to see them come, but you love to see them go. It's like the grandparents with the grandchildren. Huh? I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you here. Goodbye.
Well, it's like, I know if I can go really sideways here, they always say the best day in a boater's life is the day he buys it and the day he sells it.
Exactly, yeah.
And I can apply the same thing to visitors.
Yeah.
The best time of your life is when they walk into the door. Best time of your life is when they walk out of the door.
Yeah.
We're not asking anybody to not visit the sick.
No.
But most people really do enjoy a quick visit. We had a good gaggle on one day. It was Bobby Stark, who was a teacher
rehab,
with you.
yes.
Yeah. And of course, Jack O'Hara, who's a doctor who could explain things to you. We had a good time. It was a really good time. But, and as you were saying, too, at night you just want to sleep. Somehow, some way, the night shifters seem to manage to love to wake us up, don't they?
Right.
But you're feeling good. You're ready to do your podcasts again. Did you take any one thing, like, did Father Joe Grimaldi learn something valuable from this particular incident in his life?
I don't want to sound jaded, but having been through so many of incidences like it, it's hard to point to any one in particular. But, well, it's just a matter of patience and trying to realize what these medical workers are going through. Many of the facilities are understaffed, so they're running around like chickens without heads, trying to take care of everybody at once and giving them more patients than they can really take care of. So it's an interesting situation that you have to deal with. So patience, I think, is very important.
Did they know that there was a Catholic priest down the hall? The other patients?
Some may have, not always.
But so no one came in and say, Father, can we pray together or anything like that?
It's funny you say that. Yes, there were. There was actually one of the things that was refreshing and kind of interesting to me is that there's a woman who's 103 years of age and very much with it. And she came by just, Father, could you give me your blessing, please? And I just thought that was so great.
That's cute, yeah.
And she was with it. I mean, certainly very much with it. Delightful lady. And she had a caregiver who I know, and he himself was speaking about religious things as well. So it happens on occasion.
Yeah, I was going to say, I suspect that, other faiths were helping you out along the way, and they may have had a couple of questions for you, and you back at them, yeah?
Sure, by all means.
When do you think you're going to be ready to say Mass?
Oh, definitely a week from now.
Okay. Now, we've been over this, and I feel like now I'm Charles in charge with you. But are you going to use a cane when you say Mass?
Oh, I don't use it now. Why should I in a week's time?
I'm telling you, folks, will you please... Will you just tug on the cape of Superman here? I mean, just, why don't you just work the cane? I'm not asking for the walker.
Oh, you mean so that I could look distinguished? I already look extinguished.
You would look Churchillian doing that.
Exactly.
All right?
And then when I point something out, I can use the cane to point it out.
I'll tell you what, you got to pull out the cane and dust off the Beretta.
The Beretta,
the three-cornered Beretta. You got to pull that up with the cane.
Right.
Yeah, I'm liking the picture we're painting here right now.
All right.
But
Warner Brothers are here watching.
I mean, you're overdue to get out in front of the faithful here and say Mass. Are you looking forward to it?
A lot.
No, I bet. Do you have any idea? Are you going to thank people for their well wishes, or you just kind of carry on like it's...
nothing happened.
Like nothing happened.
I really don't know because I act on the spur of the moment. So.
Well, they're going to push you hard to get back in the saddle.
Yeah.
Hey, you did great there at the 7:30. Let's do this one again. So at the end of the day, you're ready to go back and say some Masses.
Sure.
You're back to just living life as Father Joe. You're going to be here at least once a week doing a couple of podcasts for us. So the world is round. We can come out again. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
And the spring has sprung.
It has. I hope it stays this way, too.
Well, will you do me a favor? This is a special favor just for me. Tell your friends who have nice places up north that you can go on the weekend, but I need you home during the week because we have a podcast that we need to do. Okay?
Oh, the podcast never fails.
I am so happy to be back in front of you, looking at you with headphones, a microphone, and those smiling eyes looking back at me. It's great to have you back.
Good to be back.
All right, listen, we'll see you next time on the Father Joe podcast coming up real soon. Thank our very good friends at Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, home of the Father Joe Star Treatment.
Look forward to it.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe podcast.
If you'd like, you can email us. It's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. That's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook. Simply search Father Joe Grimaldi. And thanks for listening, everyone.